civil jurisdiction. In a civil jurisdiction where insults constitute what you call, you can go under civil action against whosoever insulted, and you can go either for defamation or libel. So libel is not completely out of the books, but it's now becoming a civil. But to criminalize it is an issue. How do you say that derogatory information? So if I use very derogatory, description of a conduct of a minister, that can suffice as being in contempt of in the social media. That can be it amount to breach of the law of the act.
Dr. Mahama also criticized Minister Samuel Nati George, alleging that the committee was not formally consulted before the proposed amendments were drafted.
But what is the essence of the Constitution providing under Article 106, the lawmaking process, that bills will have to emanate from the executive? You want the executive to do their work well, so that when it comes to Parliament, they will be speedy. They will not be public, in fact, split of hair around it. Now we are splitting hair because there was not that engagement. Now it comes. We are at liberty to either reject it or to amend it, but you don't want government to bring a policy that could otherwise be good, but we are chasing away.
However, the committee's chairman, Dr. Abednego Bandim, disagreed, insisting that soliciting public input prior to presenting the draft bill before Parliament does not breach parliamentary procedure.
Part of the consultation process, normally policymakers, such as the ministries, will have to do public engagement on the bills that they bring to Parliament. And it is normal. So I hear that a section of the media, and for that matter, social media fanatics, are already debating it, and it's part of the consultation process.
He assured the public that Parliament will act in the best interest of Ghanaians before approving the final version of the bill.
But as I indicated, I am sure the minister is mindful of this, having served on the committee for a very long time and now the Minister for Communications, and his passion to ensure that we succeed in that sector. I believe he will do the needful before it even gets to us.
So you've heard him there say that they'll do the needful before it gets to them, which means that this draft bill has not been brought to Parliament yet. Or has it been brought? You are a member. Okay. So let me go to Alhaji Yunus Hussaini. He's a lawyer, knows how laws are made, and he's also someone who works in the legal space. Alhaji Yunus Hussaini.
Yes, I hear you.
Is it much ado about nothing that a bill has not even been brought before Parliament, but we are spending time debating and talking about it? Or it's essential that before bills are brought, and you have chaired a committee, I think, on constitutional and legal affairs, that before bills are brought, there should be these conversations in the public space before eventually it comes to you?
Well, so thank you so very much. So the law-making process involves the promoters of the law, the drafting the law with the intendment and purpose of the bill clearly stated in the memorandum, and the provisions of the bill intended to achieve the purpose of the bill. Now, when that is done, the identified stakeholders within the area of field of operation of the law will have to be consulted to enrich the consultation process and the intendment of the bill. So I'm sure that the Ministry of Communication has started the consultative processes which will lead to the final bill that will be laid before Parliament. And when people go for such meetings, such consultative meetings, they're entitled to share their views. And some have strong views, which they cannot keep only to the committee or consultative process, but will share it with the outside public. That is not bad, because that also works to galvanize and shape the bill in a way that will meet the legitimate and reasonable expectation of the people of this country. And so that is a process. But a lawmaking jurisdiction of Parliament is invoked when a bill is laid before Parliament under Article 106 of the Constitution. So until that bill is laid in Parliament, gazetted and laid in Parliament, the lawmaking power of Parliament has not yet been invoked.
Okay, but should we be worried about the content of at least this draft bill that we have seen? Because the minority side claims that it's an attempt by your party's government to gag social media. You are going to go after people, the George Orwell kind of 1984 style.
So that's not George Orwell. And there's a wide difference between the draft bill, which is yet undergoing consultation, and the bill that will be presented to Parliament. And equally, there will be a difference between the bill that will be presented to Parliament and the final bill that will be passed by Parliament and becomes law when it's assented to by the President. So it's a whole trajectory of matters that will animate and inform what goes into the bill. But you must understand that generally, when an institution is given police powers, that institution is designed in a way to protect life and property. That you need to give such an institution such powers to be able to intervene timeously to safeguard the lives and property of individuals. Now, so Narcotic Control Board has police powers, the OSP has police powers, and many other such institutions. Why? Because cybersecurity is an evolving field. Those engaged in it might be on the move. Do you want the institution to go to court to apply for a warrant to be able to arrest or search a property? Can it search a property on reasonable suspicion and then go to court to validate the search? That is why when you are traveling on the road, you have checkpoints on that road. I'm just giving you an example of police powers. When you get to the checkpoint, based on profiling, the police can ask you to open your boot, or they might decide to search your person based on profiling without a warrant from the court, because you are in transit. And if they have reasonable suspicion that you are moving, you have committed a crime somewhere, or you are moving goods that are tainted by crime, they can search before they go to court to validate same. So this is the nature of police powers. That if people are gathered elsewhere with cybersecurity equipment, it should be possible for the institution to get to the location, raid the location, seize the equipment before they go to court for confiscation. So if somebody is engaged in cybersecurity offenses and has a bank account, it should be possible to freeze the bank accounts before you go to court for ratification of the frozen bank account.
Okay, let me come in.
These are the nature of police powers. So when people talk about police powers, they are nothing but an attempt by the states to invest certain institutions with powers adequate and reasonable enough to protect life and property.
But the issue is that, do we need to be giving these institutions these police powers at this time? Considering that we repealed the criminal libel law, we have allowed, in fact, free speech is a big deal. In the US, it's one of the key amendments to their constitution. I think it's the first amendment. So at no point should you criminalize free speech. And critics say that is the attempt by this government. They've done it by arresting people. Now they want to put it in the law and use it against opposition especially.
So you expect those arguments, don't you? I mean, even when we wanted to raise money for the purposes of developing the communication sector and funding other developmental projects in Ghana in 2002 by Kufuor, when you brought the communication tax. What did we say?
You said
We
top,
said
top
even
tax
now,
was.
We said even now, before it's attempting to tax us for speaking.
Yes.
Not so.
Yeah, that was
Yes.
just
So
before you
can
came to
expect-
Parliament.
Yes, you can expect that, and I was very active, and you can expect that people will say such things. But the question you ask yourself, will the purpose of protecting life and property be achieved by the inclusion of provisions in the bill that give the institution police powers? Now, mind you, all acts of parliament are subject to the Constitution. And Article 3 of the Constitution is very important. Now, Article 12 to 30 of the Constitution that deals with fundamental rights and freedoms of individuals is also important. That when you put these provisions in an act of parliament, they must meet the threshold of protecting the fundamental rights and liberties of the individual. So if an individual or a person feels by the activities of the National Security, agency or what? The
National Cybersecurity Authority.
Cybersecurity Authority.
Yeah.
Their rights have been violated. They always have recourse to the courts because that act will be a subordinate legislation to the superior act. Okay. So, which is a constitution. So, yes, we have guaranteed freedoms and rights enshrined in the Constitution. In fact, fundamental is Article 3 of the Constitution, which says that any act of parliament that is inconsistent with the Constitution will be, to the extent of the inconsistency, null and void. That's a huge guarantee. And in designing the institution and investing it with authority and powers, one should always be aware that those provisions must measure up.
So there's no way that this new law,
is
going to be an affront to the rights of Ghanaians. That's your point.
Even if where the new law threatens the fundamental rights and freedoms of Ghanaians,
it will be shut down.
Ghanaians, public-spirited Ghanaians know how to deal with it.
Let me bring it.
Let me just talk briefly.
Yes.
I've heard people say even insult. We are bringing back criminal libel.
Yeah.
Nobody's bringing back criminal libel. Criminal libel has been repealed.
You are bringing it through the back door.
No. There's no back door in law.
You are saying that people send message on WhatsApp, they will catch them.
There's no back door in law. Umaru, and you are a law student. There are evolving situations. And anytime there is an evolving situation, you need to think of the solution to that evolving situation. Once a law is repealed, it's repealed. If you want even a provision of the repealed law come back, you have to incorporate it in a new law. And I don't see any provision in this draft that suggests to me that there is an attempt to bring back criminal libel. But once upon a time, somebody used the internet platform during the time of President Obama, sitting in London, in the United Kingdom, and insulted Obama. That person was extradited to the United States to stand trial. That was an extraditable offense. And recently, in the United States, yes, the citadel of free speech, people's visas have been revoked for exercising the Fifth Amendment. So I have said it and I'll say it again on your network. What we are being called upon to address is to balance the requirement to protect the lives and liberties of individuals in the light of this new and pervasive evolving phenomenon of internet and social media.
Versus how to manage it.
and how to manage it. That's what we have been called to address.
Honorable, so it sounds very good. We have a new terrain called social media, new media. You can't let people just operate in a vacuum. People go on insult and all of that. So you have to put a law there to regulate it. That's what they are going to do. How is this a problem?
Right. Thank you very much. I think basically, as senior counsel established, this is within the public space for discussion. It will be coming to Parliament for us to now look at it in detail and then see the kind of amendments or comments we are going to pass on it. But in the shape and form as we find it, I think a greater number of Ghanaian people are concerned as to how some of the provisions are being made. Okay, so you ask yourself, we passed the Cybersecurity Act in 2020. Okay, so we basically 5 years down it. It was assented on the 29th of December 2020. So December we have 5 years. And a lot has happened post 2021 that the ministry will be interested in trying to review for purposes of our security amongst others. But critical in the provisions and the kind of amendments that they are proposing, two big areas come up for worry. And that is why one aspect of it is the policing powers. But then I would like to look at even the governance structure around it. Because if you don't get your governance structure right, you wouldn't even be able to get the benefit and the purpose for which the Act is established to be. So we always talk about having the laws, having the beautiful regulations, but at the end of the day, we are unable to achieve our goal. You have an act, if you look at the section 5, the composition of the board, it has an 11-member board, okay?
It will have.
Yeah,
I'm saying it will have, futuristic.
No, it has, the current board.
Oh, you're talking about the current act.
Yes,
Okay.
The current act have.
Which act do you have now?
The Cybersecurity
The
Act.
Cybersecurity Act.
2020 Act.
2020 Act. Yeah,
okay.
Act 1030.
38.
1038.
1030 is land.
Section 5 gives us an interesting composition. The governance of the authority, governance of the authorities governing board. We have the ministers of communication, interior, national security, defense. So you have 4 ministers there before the Director General, 3 persons from industry nominated, and 3 other persons nominated by the President. So out of the 11, you have only 3 coming from the industry players. And this is an industry turf. You have only 3 out of 11 coming from the industry. Except that if the President is minded, his appointees could also be considered from people with expertise amongst others to complement the composition. The current proposal that is coming, they want to bring in Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, and then the Minister for Gender. So you are increasing the ministerial appointment on the governing board to about 6.
Well, 5, because this government doesn't have Minister for National Security.
You said?
This government doesn't have government for national security. I mean,
so
what you
the
read
interior. So
yeah.
you have the interior. The interior is acting as national security minister.
Okay.
So if the president had given the appointment to any other person, the person will be here as.
But you do understand why they add gender, though, because the children and their rights and the social media.
No, so that is why I'm talking about the governance structure. If the governance structure, and you look at the core functions of the board, oversight of the authority responsible for strategic direction and policies, and majority of the composition are ministers who have no understanding of cybersecurity. All the people that we've listed, who has an expertise in cybersecurity?
They would be briefed by their officers.
No. You know, you have to make sure that the people that sit on the board, at least if you have some ministerial presence, yes, but you should rather improve on those who have expertise in
Why
the
do
space.
you want to have a ministerial presence on a
So
on a
if
board?
your
Because
interest,
government has to have-
agency board.
if your interest is increasing more ministers, and currently, surprisingly, if you check the current board composition, you don't even have one, and I'm saying you don't have even one expert of cybersecurity as appointed by the president. So the entire board as it sits today, the current 11-member board, there is not even one, apart from the Director General, who has any background in terms of experience or...
And the 3 from industry, they would have. So the 3 from industry and the Director General, maybe those 4 would have experience. Then they...
So then you weaken the policy and the governance structure that is going to guide the running of it. If you look at the policing bit and the concerns of people, you have the CID. You have the police CID there for you to for them to handle issues about arrest, about prosecution, and then all. Why do you want to give police powers to the Cybersecurity Authority? If you look at their mandate, they are supposed to be looking at improving on their governance, improving on their capacity and the rest of the authority to function. Currently, even the existing cyber authority, they are under-resourced. We've not even resourced them to perform to the best of their ability. And then you are now going to amend and then bring them policing power. So people are worried. What is the interest of government in amending these areas without considering actually the space, making sure that you resource the authority, rebuild the needed infrastructure, you make sure that you're able to fight? Who has done even the analysis as we speak now of the Cybersecurity Authority and what it has done over the last 5 years? So I'm interested in, if I've gone through the bill and the proposed bill, and I'm not getting really what government seeks to achieve, except for those reading this kind of using it to gag people or trying to go into people's privacy, amongst others. And I think government should be very careful
Senyo and Franklin are social media enthusiasts. The accusation is that they want to go after you for speaking your mind. Based on, do you get a sense that this is to gag or it is rather to guide the space?
So I would first want us to situate a lot of the Bubraha into proper context. I take from the Constitution first, Chapter 6 of the Constitution. Under the political directives, Chapter 6 talks about the directive principles of state policy. 6 says, towards the achievement of the objectives stated in 5. Okay, so 5 talks about the state shall actively promote the integration of the peoples of Ghana and prohibit discrimination and prejudice on the grounds of place of origin, circumstances of birth, ethnic origin, gender or religion, creed or other beliefs. Towards the achievement of the objectives stated in Clause 5 of this article, the state shall take appropriate measures to foster appropriate measures. I'll skip to because there are a number of them. Appropriate measures to make democracy a reality by decentralizing the administrative and financial machinery of government to the regions and districts, and by affording all possible opportunities to the people to participate in decision making at every level in national life and in government. I made this reference because I'm seeing something that's a little new, which I think we are missing a part of that conversation. It's been the first time in quite a long while that, I saw what happened when I got the number of people send this to me and said, one Ghana movement, we have to deal with this. I said, okay. Then I looked a bit into it and I realized that the Minister of Communication had put out this draft bill officially out in public, put out QR codes for people to give their feedback and make an input in it. Then I asked myself, when was the last time we actually had a draft bill like this come first to the people, for us the people to officially make an input in this very open and public fashion? Do you remember?
So transparency.
No, but do you remember anything like this?
If he answers it to me, an indictment on his government.
No, but I mean, it's a
What's
look.
the point?
I'm saying this because I am impressed by what Sam George has done. He's moving governance to a different level. You may not like him, but what he has done is very commendable. He has opened the doors for all of us to participate in the process. The policy legitimization process will require cabinet, and then eventually will require the committees of parliament and parliament in its entirety. All right, before, and then eventually the president will have
So this
to
time
accept.
is bottom
Look,
up.
and this is what we should be doing. And while we should all legitimately have a discussion about this, I think that we should also commend this approach to policy making. Many a time, even from my own sector, I remember in 2016 or 2016 when ESLA, I ideated and originated the ESLA thing. We were then doing our legacy bonds. We had gone back and forth with ENT and then Mr. Atta and Kwesi Botwe. These were real men. You know, we did this a number of times, and the time that they were going to pass the bill, I was the one who came to lobby the opposition. I went to lobby the opposition to support it. Government drafted their thing, they didn't call us. We didn't even know what was happening. Then even what we wanted, they cut it down, rather moved and went to do their other things and put something small that was required. It was my friends in parliament, on the opposition side, who called me and said, "Oh, Senor, why they not bo?" I said, "Adia Ben." That is how policy used to be done. So if you are seeing policy this way, and people don't have to leak drafts to Imani or leak drafts to One Ghana, and government is not coming publicly, I think that transparency and accountability as required under the directive principles of state policy should be heavily commended. And Sam George, I salute you.
Franklin Kujo, would you also join in saluting the Ningo Pram Pram MP?
Oh, well, I think, because these bills actually concern almost everybody, really. I mean, I think every bill concerns everybody, but this particular raft of bills concern this new media. And don't forget, the new media, social media is where people are making billions of money. The future of innovation is in there. And everybody talks on social media. So it's important that the minister, and by the way, to be frank with you, I think he's been quite proactive in that regard. I mean, to think that he puts all this out there, and then whether you like it or not, he gives a short duration of time. I think somehow it's actually, he did these things on purpose, I suspect, because he wants people to be part and parcel of the process. So I'll put this draft there, push them out, get people worked up, because then it makes his work really interesting. People say, "Oh, they want us to do this stuff. The state wants to control everything," which obviously was a natural reaction you get, and it's the same thing I got when I read those bills. I thought, why is this so many bills? Why don't you have a proper strategy for technology innovation in this country? Instead of having all these multi-layered, which is one of the criticisms we'll be submitting, by the way, because I think all these bills, there are too many structures being duplicatory structures. But I think he did that on purpose, as I'm saying, to whip the enthusiasm. But of course, don't forget, if a politician brings out a bill and you go to sleep, eventually you get his way. So the angst we are expressing from some of the bills I've seen, the cybersecurity one, obviously, and then the other ones. I mean, if you read most of them, it looks as if the state is in competition with innovation and thinking. But which is why I suspect this were all put out there. Wasn't Sam George more or less the poster child of BSTV? He wanted everybody to understand that he's doing his work. So maybe this is his approach, and I think we should commend him for doing that.
You say it's a competition by the state against. It would rather be the state trying to protect you and I, who
no. What I mean by competition between the state and innovation is that, look, listen to what I've forgotten the gentleman in the studio when he read the
member of parliament or senior.
the MP.
Okay.
When he read the composition of the the governing council, I mean, it's always been like that with almost all our institutions, right? You go even entity tender boards, how do you call it? In each of these agencies are disproportionately populated by government and government assignments. And I think that one, for instance, tells you that look, this bill, if it mimics what already exists in most of the agencies or state institutions, and we don't want that. That's what I'm saying. That if we read a bill, almost when it comes to control or regulation, I see the state is having this. I want to protect you by all costs. Nobody needs that protection. We need you to innovate with people, think along with people, let it liberate people to be able to think. I mean, if these bills were the ones that are in the states, I don't think AI would have any briefing space at all. So I think, yeah. So let's give some due regard to some judge for pushing these bills. I mean, we received some of them in our emails. I mean, they were sent specifically to us.
So let me understand it. So frankly, so this was deliberately put out there by the minister. It wasn't a leaked document that Kojo Ponkuma went to intercept that we are discussing.
No. We received at the money. We received exclusive emails. Okay. Yeah, so we had all of this already, and it wasn't leaked. He himself posted most of them, really.
Oh, okay. Your friend, and I think he still works under you, Maximus Ametogo. He has sent a message saying that this is not new. Public engagement on technology policy has been done before. I just wanted to draw attention to that.
No, but that's true. We are just saying that it's commendable because, well, again, you put it out there for people to generate conversation and what have you. So that's commendable. I think it is important that, much as we are all saying that, well, it's a process, and so it's a democratic process, and we need to commend and probably comment and then send our reviews. I think that before the bill should have come to us, there should have been in-house proper diagnostic tests. You see, because much as you want people to be probably express anger and all of that, I don't think it makes sense at all. I think we've come a bit far. So if you see some of the things that I mean, it's like creating an institution with so many, like a head of Medusa, so many snakes that are just
Hydra-headed is the word they are looking for.
Hydra-headed, and you see, I thought that it should have been cleaned a bit from the ministry, or whoever was advising. Because see, let me tell you something. The way I read most of the bills, it makes me feel, is there an agenda to just make money? In fact, there's, for instance, the cybersecurity one. I think there are all kinds of everywhere you pass, there's penalty. In fact, if you do something, they'll penalize you. It's as if the bill has been created to just make money.
But we have always said, Franklin, that there's a lot of money from indiscipline. So let's.
Yeah, you don't make money from what I call creating deliberate boosts and traps that are not necessary. You know, it's like, so for instance, look, the cybersecurity bill talks about people should not be able to create, let's say, parody accounts or second accounts on social media.
Yeah,
that's stupid.
Oh, how? When they do that to insult people, you want them to do it?
No. But it's not everybody who does that. You see, you don't know. Some people create that to also inform the state. I mean, if I have sensitive information and I don't want it to go through my account, I probably could create something. So don't lump all of that together. What I'm saying is that the bill needs a bit of finesse, you know, and I think that what the state should have done before throwing these bills out there for all kinds of conspirations to be made of the ministry, essentially was that you clean it a bit. This was not sanitized. In fact, it looks to me that a lot more was added to what the current cybersecurity authority does. And if you do that, you make people feel that.
So since this is not
about arresting.
Franklin, so since you are a privileged think tank and they've given this, I hope you are going to sanitize and send it back to them and say this is what you think should go before they eventually go to Parliament with it.
Oh, we'll do that. All I'm trying to say is that you don't set yourself up for all this unnecessary coverage, because some of them could have been avoided.
Maybe it was to test the public's pulse.
Anyway, that's also true. I mean, which is why we are all discussing it anyway. If they've done a bill that was a near perfect, I don't think anybody will be talking about it.
That's true. Thank you, gentlemen. I'm not sure anybody has anything else to say on this because I want to move on to the health matter. Is it okay? Can I proceed? I need the. What does the speaker say? What's the thinking of the House? Should we proceed? Let's talk about health.
I think, like we all saying, it's good that it's out there for people to comment, and that has always been the approach. You need to engage stakeholders.
But we never used to have it. Let's face it, we never used to have it. You will be there, and somebody will leak a thing. Then you take the likes of Franklin Kujo and Co, Bryce Simmons and Co, who can analyze and then will bring light to the matter. If today we're having a government bringing the thing out publicly, I think it's something we should comment. And more importantly, we should learn from it. I'm not saying you are disagreeing with that. But I'm saying it's not like it's a normal thing that used to happen.
Yeah, so that is why it is good that you get the people's commentary and their feedback. But the question is, the concerns of the people, would they really be factored into the consideration of this?
But that's why the people's representatives like you
no, we won't. I'm only giving guidance on this platform, like Franklin talked about. It is different when you put it out there, and it is different when people pass their comments and people make their inputs, and they have to be incorporated into it. So that should be, and I'm saying that we should all guide the process and make sure that the spirit of the people, the mind of the people is reflected in this, so that it is not just about putting it out there to receive commendation, but also to ensure that the commentary and the real intentment of the people are factored.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah. Yes, but
I've seen a lot of the minority people come up with. Have you guys submitted your personal views?
It has not come here.
It doesn't need to. You are citizens of the state. Have you sent this draft to your people and asked them to make inputs?
You mean our people in the
as a caucus? You guys should start making your input at this stage. You don't say you should come to Parliament first.
No, we do.
Make your technical and your professional and your policy inputs in these bills now.
We do.
Go to your constituency and encourage your people to all go online to also make their inputs.
We do.
You should be able to start lobbying your constituents to start advocating for particular positions you think. Because this is the first time I'm getting a whole public, such a thing open to the whole public. If you have 1 million Ghanaians advocating a common position, it will definitely shape how policy would evolve. But I hope, because I've still seen your people talk, people don't just focus on the politics of this matter. We must focus on the policy of this matter.
Of course.
So you should. I don't like when I hear people who have power not utilizing the power constructively. And so I appeal to you, bro. Let your caucus make an official submission. Go and lobby your constituents to also go online and make the submissions, advocate your positions. You start influencing it now. After the Parliament, you and I know that you people, your skeletons working inside the whole thing.
They are not skeletons.
Oh, the mighty minority. Mighty minority.
Oh, the mighty has been removed. It's now minuscule minority.
But they call them micro minority. Whatever happens in other place, no, it won't work.
Okay.
So this is the time that you guys have to lobby. All the technical people who are shouting, it is not a leaked bill. Government has come through the front door on this matter. For me, for one of the first times in a very long while, if not the first time ever for me. So please, dear people of Ghana, go online, take on the QR code, make your inputs, your analysis, make your submission. The more people repeat a particular strong position, the better we have a chance at shaping it the way we want. The last one, Sam George, we know you have tried, but you have to extend it. Because for most people, they are also now really knowing that you even had anything open. You try, but I beg, extend it. At least give us on 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe 1 month to
look at it.
Yeah, let's go inside the matter where we're.
Okay, very well. Let's go to the health sector now. There's something that's happening there. I don't know if maybe in the years to come we may have a conversation around that or not. So the previous administration awarded a contract to an entity to manage your health system at the various hospitals. This government has come up and says that that particular entity was engaging in a sabotage against the government. And because of that, they've introduced or brought new people to do the work. It's been a war of words between Kwabena Mintakando, the Member of Parliament for Joaboso, and Minister for Health. and the former member of parliament for Lejo Kuku, who was minister also for health, Dr. Bernard Okoboy. Let me just give you a quick summary of what happened, and then we have a quick conversation in studio.
Wake up to a response from the immediate past, and if anything at all, you should be keeping quiet. It's not in his interest to be talking because he overpaid the contractor.
Minister, respectfully, if you can go straight.
So I read.
Yes, because
Mr.
he's
Chairman,
not here. Yes.
This is one of the things he said. He said that payment have been 62% from the Ministry of Finance and 68% from the National Health Insurance Authority, totaling 76.99 million paid. So he has admitted that about 77 has been paid. And $23 million outstanding. Now hear this. As of December 2024, reconciliation showed an unutilized advance of 10.6 million yet to be expended by the vendor. And he is the one who paid this. Why should you be talking?
So, Minister, well, this does not translate into the person being overpaid. I thought you said the person put it out there that he said an advance has been given, but it hasn't been utilized.
No. Mr. Chairman,
yes.
This is not a prepayment procedure. So you pay as and when you have executed the job. So if you are paying more than the work you have done, you have been over.
So that's Kwamina Mintakano. Frankly, have you followed this debate between the current minister and the former minister on this health information system, the LIMS?
Yes, I have. And I've actually probably overplayed my hand in it much more than many people would know. Because the two gentlemen, I've actually been trying to mediate at dawn, midnight, everything. Because I know the two gentlemen quite well. And
is there an SML happening there?
Oh, not quite. You see, but don't forget that this project was actually first brought to the attention of the first NDC for 6 million for 23 hospitals to be networked. So the gentleman is not a stranger. LIMS is not a stranger to the political system at all. But I think what happened essentially is that the way the contract was conceived under the previous administration made it look obviously like, clearly speaking, it was overpriced. I mean, we initially had concerns about that. We even had concerns about the fact that they didn't allow small players to be part of it. And so there was a time when we had to even negotiate between the gentleman and small other players who wanted a piece of the pie. I recall, he was in town, we did all of that. But because he had an exclusive contract, he needed to do what he had to do. And to be fair, I think that the whole idea behind the LIMS thing obviously is to integrate all these hospitals and healthcare just for the purposes of proper accounting records and then again make sure that people don't steal. So that people don't steal money, right? So I think so that was the whole import.
But are we better off now that there's a new plan departing from the previous contract, considering that the minister says the previous owners, they were dictating to us, they didn't want to give the data to us, so we said, listen, forget, we are going to bring new people. Are we better off now under this new Akando deal?
Well, actually, that's a good question. And I think I'm a bit reticent to suggest that we are better because we haven't seen what the replacement system is going to look like. I think that the minister, I've told the minister to be sure that whatever is procuring has proper value for money done, audit done, and proper tenders done, so that we don't repeat what was done earlier. And and again, it looks as if we may struggle a little bit because you see, this health record thing is not easy. So look, I was suggestive that look, they should go back and do whatever they have to do, settle the guy if they want to, and then let him complete the rest of the infrastructure.
You say he's refusing to give the thing to us, so you should go away.
That's a bit of another disappointment because I thought that while we're talking, some of these interventions could have been avoided. So look, the minister also is a new minister, and in this reset agenda, he has every right to express his displeasure, especially when the person negotiating also seems to suggest that if you don't pay me, hey, I'm going to do this. For me, that was not, I wouldn't say that was a particularly wise idea.
Very well. Let me end it here with you, frankly. Let me go to Alhaji Yunus Afseni. Alhaji, you were a minister again, and I keep referencing that because of the knowledge you have. would you move in and stop something of this nature? Would you ask for an audit to be done? What should be the approach?
So first thing is to evaluate, it's a contract. So you have got key performance indicators in the contract. So if was it a 2-year contract?
It was a contract.
What was the contract?
So the minister said the contract expired on 31st December.
Good. So that's fine. I'm just telling you as a minister.
Okay.
You come to meet a contract. Then the contract has got key deliverables and key performance indicators, and there's got a payment plan. So you look at that. Who has defaulted? What is the termination clause? What does it say when I terminate expiration of the contract, or when a client defaults in the performance of an obligation under the contract? That's the first thing. Then you look at the whole intent of the contract. What was it intended to achieve? Are we getting it? Is the contract actually giving us what we bargained for? Because you're going to make a case at the cabinet. You're going to make a case to the Ghanaian people. I mean, we don't want these contracts which have been signed in the dark, taking over our lives and taking over the discussion and airwaves. We want to ensure that when Ghana's money is spent for good purpose. And as a minister, you are uniquely placed to do that, to assess the contract. Now, I was shocked. Hey, Ghanaians are making money, or people are making money.
Some Ghanaians.
I was shocked. They said Okoye says that the contract is a Ghanaian, and the company is a Ghanaian company.
Yes.
It means that a majority of the shareholders are Ghanaians. You just referenced the Afonso Ton case, no? So I should tell you that's what the court said. So you can imagine that somebody has. It's not a bad idea. If you are using state resources to empower and enrich Ghanaians legally, you make the country prosperous. No one argues about that. But if the data and if the company harvests data of Ghanaians, they collect data, and the data is secured or unsecured and can be used for other purposes, you want to have control over the data. So where is the data?
Okay.
Who is keeping it? You will recall.
The minister said the data is in India, or is being hosted in India. Okoboy said it is sitting on the second floor of the Ministry of Health. The minister says the fact that you have a physical infrastructure there does not mean you have access to the data, and that the data access is in India. So that has been where they've been splitting heads over.
Again, so the last thing I will say on this is that, Okoboy has no obligation to defend the contract. He has no obligation at all. Because he's not a shareholder.
Yeah.
The contract is between parties. The government of Ghana and the other party. At the time Okoboy was at the ministry, he was representing the government of Ghana. Now he's out of the ministry. It is not his tenure which is being reviewed. It's a contract which is being reviewed. Okay. And he must make a distinction between that and his previous role as a minister.
Okay.
The one representing the state now is the current minister.
Okay.
And so when he talks for the state.
Very well. Thank you, Alhaji.
When you listen to Okoye to speak, then you ask yourself, who is he speaking for?
Thank you, Alhaji. Gentlemen, let's end that.
From where my senior ended, when there's always a change of government, there's this craze to always make it appear as if every contract that is signed for the benefit of someone. But it is for good purpose we have to know that these service deliverables are what we need as a country to develop and grow and go forward. And so if a government comes in and you have concerns about this, you go back to the contract.
Okay.
What are the terms of the contract and the agreement? And then if you have concerns about it, you call the parties and then review where you want to review.
Okay.
But when we come to the public space and it is like we, the people of Ghana, are fighting amongst ourselves.
For somebody
For
else.
someone,
No.
It's very worrying.
I don't want you to talk. I want us to end.
No, I have to talk. Hey, my guy.
7
First
seconds.
of all, happy birthday to Evelina Agbenyega. The key problem you have with this thing,
Who is Evelina Agbenyega?
Yes.
that is a different matter.
Senor.
My wife is watching, so I'm safe. So look, there's a problem. Who owns that data?
Yes.
My
It's the
problem is,
people of
hold
Ghana.
on, I don't have a problem.
It is
I don't have a
the
problem with
people
the fact that there was a contract or no contract. It's what kind of contract our government signed
Sign.
over technology. How do you sign a contract that can hold this country to ransom this way? Something critical as health.
Yeah.
Who owns the data? Who has access to the data? All right. The software. What source codes are you deploying in it? And in all this, am I here $100 and something million? Is it something that proprietary?
But they've given us 77.
So I'm just saying that, look, for God's sake, let's look at this thing properly.
Okay. Thank
How
you, Senor.
you are managing these technology contracts is making this country lose money
Thank you so much, Senor.
on the software.
Control, cut Senyor's mic for me. Senor Hosi is convener of One Ghana Movement. Inusa Fuseni, former MP for Tamale Central. Isaac Boamanyako is NPP Member of Parliament for Efia. Manasseh Azuri Awoni was an investigative journalist. He was with us earlier in the morning. Franklin Kujo is president of Imani Africa. I am Umaru Sanda. Amado, call me the cowboy journalist. We'll be back next week with a big issue. Thank you.